From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold beer and let's get after it. Got a tailgate orange wheat today. I don't think I've had this one.
No, I don't think I have either, but I'm excited about it. It seems
it's very refreshing. Very good. That's a good sitting by the pool beer.
I feel like I've just I'm cleaning up the house and I just tilted up that bottle of Orange Pledge finally.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. It is good. I do enjoy it. I like orange in the beer.
Yeah.
It's not overbearing.
Yeah.
But Tailgate does such a great job with that too, taking a flavor that can normally be overstated in a beer and almost making it understated in the right way where it still tastes like their peanut butter milk stout, for example.
I love that one.
It's, you tell people it's like, it's peanut buttery, but it's also still a beer. It doesn't just taste like you're drinking a gallon of peanut butter.
Yeah. A lot of other places, they like want to make that, that unique flavor, the standpoint where it's like, oh,
right.
That's all you're getting. Where Tailgate, it's like, it's there, it's there,
right.
But it's still, you can still tell this is a beer I'm drinking.
We're a beer, right. We're beer drinkers, we like the taste of beer, so kind of changing that up. Like I don't want a fruity drink because I want that, that hoppy, that kick to my drink. So Tailgate always does a fantastic job. If you're listening out there, Tailgate, shout out.
Yeah. Hashtag not a sponsor yet.
Hashtag want to be a sponsor.
All right. Today we are resuming our segment of Tank, Rebuild, Future, and Push. We've got our games of the week. We've got a story about a mafia cooking show, and we've got and we're going to answer some we're going to answer some internet questions. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show, and download and comment on the show. If you leave a nice little comment, and we'll read it out, and you'll get a shout out on the show. But how are you this week, bud?
Doing well, man. We got a couple Preds games coming up, so that's always fun. Just celebrated my sister's birthday.
Nice.
So that was great. It was, she turned 21 last year, and obviously not a lot going on in mid-March of, 2020. So we were just calling this the, her 21st birthday, first anniversary. Yeah. So
21 part B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Electric Boogaloo,
21 endgame.
So, we had a real good time. Played a boatload again. Dude, we got to get into some of these. A boatload of like little coin gambling games and stuff, like some poker dice, and they have this horse racing game that's really fun. Yeah, so had a good weekend gambling. I had a good day last night. The Elite Eight game, the first set of Elite Eight games. Yeah, and it was unfortunate for you for being out of town. Obviously you could have set your picks for the first round, but then after that, there was no option. So
I did all right. I did about 60% on those while I was out of town, but I wanted to. I think I texted you 2 bets, and I think the one you tailed lost. The one you faded won.
I faded one. Right, exactly. I should have flip flopped them. That first weekend of games, killed it on the Saturday set of games, man. I straight killed it. And then Sunday hits, and I did not do as hot on Sunday. It was, I went about even with how much I killed it on. That always hurts to be doing so well, and you're feeling everything. You're like, oh, I'll take this. Boom, it hits.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take this. Boom, it hit. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, all right, buddy, your luck is done. Please leave. Keith is like, get out of here.
I'm aboard Keith. But yeah, I just got back into town. We took last week off. Not for you fans though. You guys had a show. We recorded 2 in one day. Wife and I went out to the Dominican Republic. It was an amazing time. Everything was pretty safe. The only part that wasn't super quote unquote COVID safe was immigration. The customs going into the DR, it was packed. Now they did have
so basically you dirty immigrants were messing up Dominican Republic.
Now you do have to have a COVID test before you go, and they did have like cameras in when you come in the building that like senses your heat and stuff, and they'll pull you aside.
Bro, I get pulled aside so many times. So hot.
Yeah.
You know, I was just so hot. They're like, sir, you don't even have a temperature.
Well, the thing is, like, they have to have that test because like you get out there and it's already like 80 degrees and you're in a building without AC. So you're already sweating. You've been on a plane for like 6-7 hours. So I'm sure the average temperature is already way higher than it's supposed to be.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, your body regulates that heat. That's the point. We're warm blooded. We don't go based off the that we're not cold-blooded animals, Bobby.
but I did like when there's a point line where you can look over and look at the monitor, and I forget that they use Celsius. So I'm like, wow, we're all really cold in here.
Wow, it's
like 20 degrees. Why am I?
Sir, I need medical attention, sir. Please,
I'm a zombie.
please help me.
But yeah, so it was a good time. Drank a crap ton of Presidente, only beer on the island. But yeah, so let's get into some news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
All right, start off here at home. The Preds are in a playoff picture as of now. 5 in a row for them as of recording. 7 out of the 8 of the last games are wins. 2 games against the Stars and 1 against the Hawks before this episode releases. I'm sorry, before next week's I'm reading off the fantasy doc right now. So they've got a game tonight against the Stars, and that'll be played before. But yeah, they're looking good, man. These last 2 weeks, they quickly went from a team that looked like they were just, I mean, they weren't going to be as bad as Buffalo, but they were looking rough.
It's hard to be as bad as Buffalo is looking. I mean, Buffalo's worse than the Seattle Kraken. Speaking of, I got the new Seattle Kraken shirt on. Uncle Dennis up in Seattle sent me this. You know, he's not a listener to the show, I don't think, but I mean, you know, maybe if he hears he's got a shout out.
Dennis, man, get on the show. I mean, I feel like as payment for that shirt, get him hooked on the show. Yeah, boom, fair trade.
The problem with that is then I'll owe him for the shirt and also for getting him hooked on this show. So I mean, I just can't handle that kind of debt on my life. So, but so I really do appreciate it. It's really dope. So
yeah, the Blues are not. Apparently they are. When I wrote this, I think what happened was I was on Hockey Reference, and I think
You were wishful thinking.
I also did this. I think I might have done this like 2 days ago, and I think they like the winning percentage changed for another team.
Maybe by the time it comes out,
they won't be in the playoff.
They won't be, and then you would be right.
Which I mean, I believe they've lost 5 straight at home. They are looking bad. And I remember at the beginning of this month, I was riding them saying they are going to be bad. Like they are, and you were like,
you haven't said anything for a while, and I think that's why they've gotten bad. But when you were saying stuff, they were just winning games left and right.
It's one of those things where, I mean, I've been saying it for the last 10 years. Eventually I'll be right.
Right. You just keep saying it.
It's like when Max Kellerman keeps saying Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
One of these days, I mean, it's been 10 years, but one of these days he'll fall off a cliff.
If you just keep saying it, there will be a point where Tom Brady is no longer playing football in the NFL.
Is there
maybe?
Maybe.
I mean, but if I keep saying it, eventually it's gonna happen. Be like, bro, I called it.
Yeah. We'll be celebrating our 90th birthday. Somehow we made it to 90, and we'll be talking about how Tom Brady just won another Super Bowl.
Dude will be 120 just out there. You know, he's won his 36.
By then, the NFL will allow half cyborgs, and
he's won a Super Bowl with every single team in the league at that point. So Blues are not looking good, man. But I mean, it's what we talk about. I just don't know that anybody is going to be able to step up to the plate in that division. I mean,
the Coyotes are 1 point
right
back.
There.
I mean,
they're right there.
That's the great thing with, late season hockey is that if you surge at the right time, anybody can sneak in. And listen,
Predators are in the playoff picture.
Listen, I think the Blues, just by the sake of that division, they'll make it. But I mean, they would need to step something up. And like I said 2-3 weeks ago, I mean, they've got the injury bug. Their goaltending is straight garbage. So I don't see them doing anything, and I'm okay with that. Aaron Ekblad out for the season with that was a rough video to watch.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the video because I've heard that it was rough. I mean, it was pretty immediate. 12 weeks surgery. Yeah. He's done for the year. That sucks for the Panthers, who were looking really strong.
Yeah.
You hate to see that for them, but I mean, more in particular, you hate to see that for a guy like Ekblad. I mean, this is going to be a rough injury to come back from.
He was in the Norris conversations.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember if I was confusing him with Barkov, and I was like,
I think because I
personally I was like, obviously I feel bad for the guy, but dude is going to ruin my midseason award. But it was Barkov.
Yeah, I confused him with that too when I heard that. Like the third thing I thought was
like, yes.
Well, no, I was like, oh, that really sucks for Brandon. Oh no.
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't the first two things I thought, but it was up there.
But hopefully everything works out and he gets healthy. I mean, Panthers are still looking okay. Not that they've played a lot without him, but I mean, I don't think that this is necessarily, if they continue to play the way they have been playing, I don't know that this is necessarily the end to any type of run we may see from them. So
yeah, I think where they would be feeling it is in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
the kind of he's a game changer that you need him in a 7-game series to step up. And that's also one of my biggest things with the Preds. We have this influx of young guys. The question is, will those young guys perform in the playoffs when we need them to? And, maybe. I mean, we've seen with the Preds that, we've seen Colton Sissons perform in the playoffs. We've seen Kevin Fiala perform in the playoffs.
Colin Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only time the guy performed with the playoffs.
But all right, let's move on to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
March Madness, the Final Four is almost upon us. What are your thoughts about the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8?
Yeah, man. Sweet 16 was super fun. We've only seen, as of recording, there's only been 2 games on the Elite 8. But so we know 2 of our Final Four teams, Baylor and Houston. But man, there was some good basketball in the Sweet 16, and there was some not good basketball. I had first game of the weekend. I had a $70 free bet from a promo from William Hill. Right before the game started, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna toss this $70 free bet on the first half under of Loyola and Oregon State. And I think it was like 54.5, a pretty low number. I felt like I think I could have got it if it was like 30. That was such a bad half of basketball, dude. That was even playing and having the under, it was gut wrenching to watch. It was rough. Oregon State, pulled it off. What a great story. Obviously they lost last night, but just fighting to get in. You always love those little stories there. I mean, Oral Roberts, I'm not gonna call them what people online are calling them. You can use your imagination. My mom was calling them the dental school.
Oral Richards.
I really wish that we would have got Oral Roberts Colgate so we could have the dental bowl. This is the battle right here. Arkansas, that was such a close game. I obviously benefited the most with, I think, Arkansas winning. I think I had them in a couple of different things. But Oral Roberts, I threw a little bit of money on them just to have it. What a close battle. What a great basketball game. Any of those matchups really surprise you?
I'll be honest. Since I was on vacation, the only game I actually I watched a Michigan game while I was out, and I went to a bar there and watched Maryland, Alabama, which was, it was sad to see, but at the same time, Maryland basketball hasn't been great in a while, and Alabama was looking good.
Yeah. The buzzer beater from Alabama against UCLA, I think that was, if I'm remembering the stat correctly, I think it's the first time like a buzzer beater that went into overtime and the team that didn't buzzer beat won. And they ended up winning by 10 points pretty handily. UCLA, that's going to be a force tonight against Michigan. I'm thinking Michigan's going to win, but I would not be surprised if UCLA goes out there and wins that basketball
Michigan
game.
is just, listen, Michigan's been looking good though. Michigan has won me easily the most amount of money this entire tournament.
Yeah. I'm sticking to my guns. I mean, Gonzaga is just looking outright ridiculous right now. I mean, the USC Oregon game, USC went out there and pretty much slaughtered Oregon. I mean, Baylor handled Villanova it was started out like a really close game, and then they kind of walked away with it towards the end there.
I think what a lot of people get confused on, or not confused on, but lost in, is that, listen, and we were talking about it before the show, Cinderella stories are great. Everyone loves a Cinderella story. You'll get Cinderella stories up into the Elite Eight. You're not going to see many Cinderella stories past the Elite Eight, because once you get to the Elite Eight, that's when these good teams, the Baylor, Houston, Gonzaga, that's when they start showing up. Now, it's happened. It will happen. But now Michigan, UCLA, that's not even really a Cinderella story to me. It's going to be a good game.
UCLA is an 11 seed because they had a horrendous end of year streak.
And I'm not saying, like, listen, when I say Cinderella, I'm talking about like the Loyolas or the Oral Roberts. Those are the teams where, you know what, ride them into the Sweet 16, but don't be putting money on them in the Elite Eight or Sweet 16. Like,
honestly, of the Sweet 16 matchups, I think I was most surprised at how handily Houston handled Syracuse. I was thinking Syracuse was...
You weren't big on Houston from the very beginning.
I wasn't. And
I was big on them. And now, listen, it was a closer game than I thought it would be last night. But they looked good. They had a pretty good run there for a bit where they were looking good.
I'm happy to eat my words. Yeah. I mean, I didn't say that they wouldn't be bad. They would be bad, but I just didn't think that they would be as good. And they've looked, they.
Now, I don't think they'll be able to keep up with Baylor or Gonzaga,
no, Baylor looks just too good right now. Gonzaga just looks too good.
I don't realistically see it being anything other than a Gonzaga versus Baylor championship game.
Me either. I mean, but that's this time of year. It could absolutely be UCLA, Houston.
What's your best bracket looking like?
I think my best bracket that I have
looking good.
My best bracket that I have is in the Pucks Out group.
Mine too.
I am sitting in that at 10th now. I continue to drop. I have a 1240 max available on one, and then I have an 1130 max available on the other. So not great, Bob.
Best, both of mine, and we have a 2 max. We actually got a good amount of people. We got about 22 entries in that, so I'm assuming each person. So we have about 12 people in there, 11 people in there. I've got both of mine are at 600 points, but one's at 840 max and one's at 1320 max.
Yeah. So
what's your worst bracket look like?
I didn't do like a whole boatload. I think I only did 3.
Question.
My worst bracket has 520 points.
So the percentage and the middle number, the PCT, is that percentage or is that percentile?
I think
what
you're probably
you're in.
Probably in what percentile you're in.
Okay, that's what I was very confused with. Because, like, for example, I had one with Tennessee winning it all. Just fuck around. It's 390 points. It's actually got a little ice cube next to it because I was ice cold. 15% and 390 max points. But my highest percentile one is my one called Crab Cakes and 3-pointers, where I had where it looks like I had Maryland winning it all. But so that died pretty quick.
Well, and the problem was one of the ones I had in the Pucks Out group, I was straight dominating on day one. On one of those, I missed 2 picks, and I was looking real good. You had the ice cube. I had the little fire, dude. I was hot, and then that's kind of dropped off since. So,
yeah. But all right, yeah. I mean, in one of those, I got the bubble teams wrong. I had Texas in on one of them. I
was laughing because I was like, "Ha, these fools think they're getting our Target gift card," and it looks as if somebody will. So,
well, I mean, I don't know. Well, let's look at the max points available. We could.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I think that unfortunately, the max points available right now, I think we have the guys that are ahead have some similarities. We got a lot of Gonzaga. We do have our top scorer right now has Illinois, and he has an Illinois winner, so that's good. But then besides that, everybody still has somebody in, except for you, who has Ohio State in one. We only have 1, 2. We have a bunch of Illinois, and we have a West Virginia and a North Carolina, but a lot of Gonzagas, a lot of Baylor's, Michigan in there. Yeah. So I'm not hopeful. I mean, I want some. I let them win, and I just wanted you to be engaged with our podcast.
But all right, Vanderbilt earmarks a historic $300 million for athletics, primarily going to football and basketball. This was an article on The Athletic, I believe, by Joe Rexroad. I'll have to verify that in a minute. But pretty much $100 million is coming from the school and $200 million is coming from boosters. This is the largest endeavor they've ever taken.
Okay.
And it's actually one of the larger endeavors in the SEC. Like, usually like you see this amount of money over a course of like 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. Vanderbilt's putting this all in at 1 year.
The difference is that every other school in the SEC has spent over the last 5 years at least $300 million. So I mean, they're like, we're putting this in. Well, it's like, but you haven't for the last 30 years. And that's what a lot of people are saying
is that $300 million. That's great. That's great for great for a lot of things for that program. You're still not going to. That's not catching you up to other schools. Like they're saying, like there are people saying that this will get them past teams like Mississippi State.
No, it will not. It will not.
No, they were saying like the money that this will get them past the small, but this won't get them past the teams that they like.
Well,
this won't get them past Tennessee. It won't get them past. Probably won't even. Like they were saying, we'll probably won't even get them past Arkansas. Like
spending money though is not.
I'm talking about the quality of the things on campus.
Same thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still, you got to remember the type of school you are. You have to almost change your image completely to come in and look like a Stanford type of team, like Notre Dame. Or they're not an Ivy League school, are they?
Technically, Notre Dame is in the Ivy League.
Okay,
just like Duke is in basketball. Like Duke is in basketball. Duke is in that. It's not. So there's an Ivy League, and then there's the Ivy League Conference, and that's what people kind of confuse. There are teams.
Well, right. I'm saying is a school an Ivy League school? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's why. So I was not aware that Notre Dame was, but yeah, exactly what you're saying though. To be a competitive, because I mean, to bring in athletes. You got a certain level that you have to be able to hit academically. And it is going to take, I mean, obviously that is the step in the right direction. That's been the biggest problem of Vanderbilt is that they're not willing to put in the money. And it's good that they're showing that initiative. But let's not act like, 1 year of finally doing something that you're supposed to do covers the last 40 years of doing nothing for your program.
So I do want to correct one thing I said. There are, over the past 2 decades, the term Ivy League has been changed. Originally, it's the 8 Ivy League schools that are like its own little thing, but now they're saying that to be Ivy League, you have to be one of the top 20 academic schools in the country.
And it's like a private
university. So Notre Dame is actually, as far as academic schools, they actually rank above 6 schools in the quote unquote Ivy League spectrum. So nowadays, yes, they are considered Ivy League school for all.
There was no argument.
Yeah. I just because if people listen, they're like, well, it's not one of the 8 Ivy Leagues. It's like, all right, well,
we don't care. Yeah. I mean,
we're drinking orange
wheat beer, smack talking Vanderbilt right now. And hopefully. When we get hit by the KGB, hopefully a Vanderbilt doctor doesn't take care of me because he's listening to the podcast. So, no, I mean, I'm glad for it. It seems like a perfect opportunity for Vanderbilt to really beef these 2 sports up. I mean, you're right in the middle of Nashville. This is where, the SEC Conference Championship is held.
And with the absolute train wreck that has been UTK as of late, now is your time to shine.
You have to,
because you're not gonna be on the same level as UTK for long. UTK is a program that will get its shit together eventually. Right. Brick by brick might take 30 years, but they'll make a wall. But at the same time, like they need to take a look at schools like Duke and even Stanford. Like it can be done. You can be an academic powerhouse and also be great at a sport.
I absolutely
Now I get they're good at baseball, but at the same time, like you need to be big at football, basketball.
That's great that they're great at baseball, but we know that's not what sells program. I mean, I'm happy that they're great at baseball.
And part of the article,
not what I'm saying.
Part of the article was the athletic director pretty much said that they, for the longest time, they didn't really care about the optics, but now they want to change the optics. They want to change the light. They want to change the cult. It honestly, what I read much like when Ron Rivera went to Washington. Mm-hmm. Change of culture. The culture needs to change.
Well, right.
And now listen, it's apples and oranges, pro and college. But when Ron Rivera came in and said he was going to change the culture, a lot of people believed him. I think we can both agree that he changed the culture of that team. The biggest thought process.
The biggest, I agree. The biggest problem with Vanderbilt is we've heard this before.
Yeah,
they've said this before. Like pumping $300 in, or $300. That's usually what they pump in. Pumping $300 million in is a great start, but what are you spending the money on? How are you pumping it in? Are you competing with these other SEC schools, as you said?
One of the things that they did that I did like is that before, a lot of these programs had they wouldn't get and so $100 million of this is coming from the school, which is a bit unheard of for Vanderbilt. So it is nice to see that at least the school, it seems like everyone's finally trying to get on the same page. The athletic department, the school board, the boosters are getting back on board. So it's interesting to see what the future holds for Vanderbilt. Because listen, I want Vanderbilt to be good. I think a lot of Tennesseans want Vanderbilt to be good. No, I don't think anybody truly hates Vanderbilt because of a rivalry. They just like to hate on Vanderbilt because it's easy pickings to hate on Vanderbilt.
I kind of hate Vanderbilt just in general, but mostly again because of what stems from their fan base.
Yeah.
Their fan base doesn't care about Vanderbilt sports. Their fan base cares about other teams being bad, which I don't like. And
listen, Vanderbilt's not my number one team, but at the same time, but because I'm not a big fan of UTK, I get pleasure when Vanderbilt's good, especially when they're just as bad as Tennessee good. It's like, but no, listen, it's always fun seeing. It would be nice, especially since we live in Nashville. If we had imagine if Vanderbilt just for 1 year is able to squeak themselves into the top 25, how dope that would be we'd be able to go to a game. They would actually fill up more than 5% of their stadium. I don't think they're going to squeak in the top 25 anytime soon, but even if they were competitive, because otherwise they're just like a smart Austin P the way they've been.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you. I just think that, just saying you're going to spend money isn't enough for me. I need you to unfortunately, you've not earned the respect. You gotta show us. So, but yeah, that was a good topic to kind of discuss. I think we're going to move into the tank rebuild, future or push, correct?
Yeah. All right. So today we've got the Wild, the Flyers, the Flames, and the Blackhawks. Why don't you start us off? You've done yours. I'm going to do mine on the fly. Okay. I haven't done much research on it, unfortunately, even though it was my segment.
I generally do just like a general level of research, like just in my mind what I think.
I think I'm going off the eye test for what I've seen recently in the season. But so the Wild, what do you got?
Yeah, I got push for the Wild. They're looking really good. They've got a lot of good young pieces and have added some pieces. They're looking pretty decent this season. Obviously a potential opportunity for future with some youth that they have there. But, within their division, I want to say that they have a team that could potentially push a little further in the playoffs. So, my thought process that no one necessarily rebuilds if, pushing into the playoffs is part of the long-term option for you or the short-term option for you. I think you have to, go with that short-term choice if it's better than the long-term choice.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, things can change so rapidly. Like if we had done 2 weeks ago, if we had done the Preds on this, we would have both been doing rebuild.
Have we not done the Preds? I thought we
might
rebuild.
have. If we did do the Preds, I'm sure we were both on rebuild. And now it's almost like shit. They might be in a push situation.
and probably will kind of hit the next three that I have. I have the same answer for all of these with a little bit of caveats in between them. So, what do you have? What are you thinking for the Wild?
See, they're a hard team, but I'm with you. I'm on push. They were in that weird spot where if they don't push, then they're going to be stuck floundering with bad draft picks, just missing the playoffs or getting kicked out in the first round.
So, but how different? But I asked this not to disparage your point, but to just see. How different is pick 7 to pick 15 in the league? It doesn't seem like there's a massive difference.
But obviously there has to be something because teams certainly want to push hard for that, for that change of picks. So there's got to be something where. But no, I'm with you on push. Yeah, you guys, especially in a weird year like this, go ahead, push, get in the playoffs, see what happens. They've got a good team there. They got some good young talent. Kevin Fiala's looking good over there. So yeah,
Zuccarello's looking pretty good.
So, yeah.
I mean, I agree.
Next up, we've got the Flyers, and listen, I still think you've got to push. They've been struggling the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, that core is there. They still have a good team. They need to get back to what they were doing in the beginning of the season. Where they need to be who we thought they were in the preseason. I'm on push.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think your decision to choose push has been influenced though, Bobby, because you do not want to get water all over you.
Are you questioning?
Yes.
Okay.
Your ethics. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty clear platform
Good,
of the show.
You should. Because I'm 100% biased.
I feel like that's a pretty big basic need to know about this show is that we have no ethics. Okay. So but for mine, I have small rebuild push. So I don't necessarily disagree with you that the push, I mean, the pieces are there. They're a little older. I think that they could stand to bring in some younger pieces. But I mean, they're on the cusp of that playoff spot, and and from what we've seen this year, when they're playing well, it seems that they have the team that could go far in the playoffs. You know, that's the problem here. Is I don't think it's an outright push, but I definitely wouldn't disparage them from making a push. I'm always for that. Push as hard as you can because you never know what's going to happen when the playoff bell rings. So yeah, I'm with you, but with some small rebuild because they have some older pieces that are not going to be there for long type of stuff.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Flames. Why don't you start us off with this one?
Again, similar answer, rebuild push. I mean, they're right there on that cusp of a playoff spot in the Scotia North. That's a really tough division. So it's hard to look at their record right now and say, you know, they're a bad hockey team when realistically they're just playing the best hockey teams in the league this season, or at least it seems, playing within each other. But they definitely have a little bit of work that needs to be done. So I mean, you know, maybe future potentially, but I definitely have a rebuild push option here that I feel like those two go well together because you can do both. You know, you may trade a piece here and there to get some future, you know, considerations type of deal, but doesn't necessarily stop you from pushing into the playoffs. So, it's looking tougher and tougher for them to be able to get there, though.
Yeah, this team is so inconsistent this year, and honestly, they've been like that for a while now. And I think they're going to end up being rebuild. I think they need to build around. You know, it's not going to be a full rebuild. They're not stripping everything away, but they need to build around. You know, guys like Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau. I think that, you know,
last Lindholm,
maybe Milan Lucic, but I think maybe it's time for
Tkachuk.
But
can't forget Tkachuk.
This team is so Jekyll and Hyde that something needs to change because it's become win one, lose one, win one, lose three. This whole, I mean, they can't get a footing going, especially in that Northern Division. That's a no. You can't do that in that division.
It's really interesting to me you know, where would we be at with a lot of these teams if everybody was playing everybody like normal? You know, some teams you just don't match up well with. You know, that's the problem. And when you play the same team over and over again, you get to know them, you get to know their tendencies. You're not playing random teams that inflate your stats a little bit. I mean, I think we've seen that from the standings is that there is at least from what I've really seen, there's no like outright this team is so far ahead of the other teams in the division. You know, I mean, we got a close race in all four of these divisions, and I think it's just by the nature of like you play a team a lot, you know, you're gonna come out with some. So But I'm with you. I mean, the inconsistency shouldn't be there. I mean,
and the struggles with Jacob Markstrom,
I know.
In his last
Very
11
surprising.
starts, he's 4-6-1, allowing 2.91 goals against, and has a horrible .884 save percentage. I mean, this. Let's see. When was this written? So Monday. So about 4 days ago from release, he had to be pulled in the second period. I mean, he's just that you can't.
Oh no!
So you just I don't see them getting. I think they're going to miss the playoffs.
I think that'd probably be best for them though.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they should stop pushing for it just in case that chance of you get in.
I'm not saying full rebuild, but I'm definitely like you've got rebuild push. I think they need to stay away from push. I think
rebuild.
They need to they need to do just one step lower. Keep their main guys, not clean the house of GM and coach. Get some fresh young players in there and get ready for a 3-year rebuild, not one of those long 8-year rebuilds. Blackhawks, Blackhawks are weird. Honestly, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. I think that in the division they're in, they could certainly. I mean, the Central, whatever it's called, the South now, could certainly be. You know, I think everyone's going to be competing for that 4th spot. If you're not in the top 3, you're competing for that 4th, which is obvious. You know, if you're not in the top 3, you're competing for the 4th. But I think what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's the top. I think the top 3 teams have it locked up, and everyone else is they're fighting for that. And I think it's going to come between the Blackhawks and the Preds. To be completely honest, I think the Stars, you know, with how many games in hand they have, could do something, but haven't liked what I've seen from them lately.
No, they've looked really bad. I have a rebuild push. It's one of those teams where your core pieces are able to push you while you're. I mean, they've been kind of doing this anyway.
Well, that's my problem with saying rebuild is that they're not really in a position to rebuild. They've been rebuilding. They have the young talent. They've got their veterans.
So maybe future push. Future push is more of an accurate
and that's
description.
why I certainly like. If they were to do well in the playoffs, to me that would be a surprise because I thought that they were another year or two away from being the Blackhawks that everyone.
For
hates.
sure. But the thing is, when you got a guy like Patrick Kane,
and DeBrincat,
you can. If you told me right now, season ended and the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup, like it would be a little surprising, but not like
I'd be more angry than surprised.
Right?
Like,
right. I wouldn't be like, what?
Yeah.
You know, one of best players in hockey. Hockey plays like he is. You know,
who gets to also play with Alex DeBrincat. Like we saw the other night with the Preds, like Alex DeBrincat almost put that team on his shoulders and marched into a win with his 2 goals.
They've got. I mean, they have a team for the future. If we're being honest, so I mean, you know, future push. I mean, I would not be surprised to see them push and try to get into that 4th spot because you never know what can happen.
Yeah. All right, let's move into our games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, record update. I remembered it this time. I'm currently sitting at 25, 24, and 1. Bondo is sitting at 25, 22, and 3. It's real close.
You always remember when you have the same amount of wins as me.
Well, yeah.
And if it wasn't for this, you know, obviously we skipped last week. We forgot to tweet out our games, which is obviously no problem. But the week before, it was looking solid. Obviously, we didn't get to update those completely. But you had a rough week at 1-4. And I had a good week at 3-2. So it was 21, 23 and 1 to 22, 20 and 3. And then the following week happens and I had a good week at 3-2, but it was no match for your 4-1 week. So, neck and neck all season, bro. We've been battling back and forth. So,
why don't you start us off with your first game of the week on Thursday?
Yeah, I have the Habs Senators Thursday the 1st. Habs Senators on Thursday the 1st at 6 p.m. You know, happy April Fool's Day. This is not a joke. I think the Habs are going to win. They need to kind of come back and prove themselves against this Senator squad. So I do have the Habs. They need to have a good last stretch to the season if they want that 4th coveted playoff spot in the Scotia North. So that is who I have. Did I say 6 p.m.? It's at 6 p.m. if I did. So,
all right. And a little bit after that game starts, I've got the Preds and the Stars. We will be there that game.
Be in attendance.
I'm going to take the Preds. I personally think that, listen, the Preds are hot right now.
So hot right now.
I think that they drop tonight's game. We're recording on Tuesday, their first of two games against the Stars. I think they're going to drop tonight's game. But I think they come back, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring event.
Well, Davey's going to that game tonight,
Yeah.
so hopefully they lose this one.
Yeah.
For my second game, I believe that nope, your game is actually before mine.
I got Leafs versus Jets on Friday at 7 p.m. I've got the Leafs, man. They're so good. And listen, I think that they kind of started stumbling a little bit the last little bit, but I think they're back to being the Leafs that they have been all season. So I think they beat the Jets.
Okay. Yeah, that's that should be a good. They're still winning that division, so hard to pick against them, honestly. I have the Blues Avs Friday the 2nd at 8 p.m. Your Blues. I'm actually going to take the Avs, surprisingly. Yeah, they're your Blues, bro. You talk about them so much. Yeah. It's so I have the Avalanche winning that game. They have been real strong as of late and made a big push from where they were earlier in this season.
Not to mention, the Blues are just garbage.
Well, the Blues beat them in game one. So
what is that? That says more about the Avalanche than it does the Blues.
Right, which is why I've been talking about how the Avalanche are hot.
All right, I've got the Wild versus I think you're up because you got a 12 p.m. on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I did what I rarely do. I took a double Saturday game. But for my first Saturday game at noon on the 3rd, I have the Red Wings Lightning. And I think the Lightning
stats, huh?
The Lightning I think the last time that these two teams played, the Red Wings won in regulation. So I guess I'm trying to pad this down. But no, I just think that the Lightning are getting ready for that playoff push. Although the Red Wings have been playing a lot better hockey as of late, and not looking like definitely not the worst team in the league.
You think they're still going to be sellers at the deadline?
What are they selling?
I think Bobby Ryan is on the
on the
Bobby
block. Ryan. If Bobby Ryan wants, if somebody wants Bobby Ryan. Yeah, I would say that they would sell him. They don't have a lot of pieces that are not young that I would think that they would want to sell.
You got that nice new stadium.
That's true. They're going to trade their stadium. So I have the Lightning winning that one.
All right. On Saturday at late that night, or not late, but
it's actually technically me again. If we want to get real, I've got the another Saturday game for you guys. Preds Blackhawks 2 p.m. Saturday the 3rd.
We'll be there.
We're gonna be there. I can't guarantee that I will watch any of this game. We do have Lexus Lounge tickets, so
we'll be, and we're going with our boys Davey and Riles. So we'll be pretty.
Are they going this Saturday?
No, I'm sorry. I keep confusing that. That's a different Lexus Lounge game. Yeah.
Sorry, Davey and Riles. If you're listening, you're not going to this.
You're going to the 13th. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. So, coming up after that, or did you say who wins that?
I got the Preds winning this actually. So,
be nice.
We've both
have we. I'm not gonna jinx it. I was gonna talk about their record this year against the Blackhawks. I don't know what their record is this year against the Blackhawks.
I thought you were gonna say, have we ever seen them beat the Blackhawks? And I would say, yeah, we definitely have. We definitely have.
All right, I've got on Saturday, I've got the Wild versus the Golden Knights. I think it's gonna be a good matchup in that Western Division. I think the Golden Knights are going to beat them now. Honestly, I think I'm tailing the Wild as far as being a good team and not, they're not really playing up to their talent. But I think Golden Knights take this one.
Okay. And then why don't you go ahead and do your next one, and then we can.
I've got Bruins versus Flyers, and as much as I think the Flyers are going to get back in stride, the Bruins are looking good right now. Is Marchand back? Yeah, I know Marchand was gone for a couple games.
I have no idea. That was also the game that I picked on.
I did not see that
on Monday. We're already locked into it. It's already on the dock.
You what,
so,
sake of brevity, you put yours in first. I'll take Flyers. I'll change mine right now to Flyers since you already picked the Bruins.
You can do that, or we can flip a coin for it.
I'll take Flyers.
You know,
because I'm riding the Flyers anyway for my water bet.
Okay.
So you know what? And you put yours in. It was all fair. You put yours in first. It's my fault for not seeing.
To
them.
be fair, I did pick a game that never actually happened once, and I just took the L for it. So
I'll take Flyers.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: anything could happen.
I was really tossed up on that one too. If we would have done the coin flip, I wouldn't have been upset if I got Flyers. It would have been like a fate type of deal.
Yeah.
So if you win, I mean, fate's in your favor. So
all right,
we should bet on that game. Both of us. You bet on the Bruins and I'll bet on the Flyers, and then either way, we both win.
We don't have a lot of water bets. So you want to make it a water bet as well?
Yeah.
All right.
Type it up. Yeah, I'll do a water bet.
All right. So why don't you give us you just gave us your last game of the week.
It's the same. You gave it to us.
This games of the week section is very confusing this week with the order we're going. But I got my last game of the week on Tuesday at 9:30. I got Sharks versus Ducks. You know, we're seeing so many of the same things, and I don't think we've given you guys enough Ducks yet, which is not a sentence I thought anyone would be saying about hockey. But
dude, bro, I know you saw that trailer for the Mighty Ducks show, dude.
I was out of town when it aired, but I'm going to watch the first episode. I think
is it out? I didn't even know the show's out.
The show's out. Yeah,
boom, I'm in.
I heard it's decent.
Yeah, I mean, my boy Gordon Bombay's in it, so you're damn right it's decent.
But all right, that wraps up our games of the week. We've got a water bet in there this week, so we will keep track of that. Time to move on to our joke of the week.
Spoiler, they didn't.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish. Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister. And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
All righty. We're heading over. I don't know if this happened in Italy but a mafia fugitive caught after posting cooking show on the YouTube.
Do we know what cooking show it was?
No, but I need to find out now. I'm assuming, is it still? Apparently, Italian police tracked down Mark Fair and Claude Biart, 53, through the culinary videos he has uploaded.
I'm sorry. I just got to stop you there. That was the worst pronunciation of a mafia.
There was also a little bit of a beer burp through there as well.
Mafia en blanc. That's what I would have gone with.
That was more French than Italian.
Well, I mean, the French have
Claudia Biarte.
That was perfect. See, that was what I was looking for.
All right.
That was what I was looking for. While he carefully hid his face, he failed to disguise his body tattoos.
Like, dude, the one thing they definitely like that you probably never changed.
Dude's been to prison probably at least like 15 times. They've taken pictures of all of these things multiple times, and he's like, "Nah, bro."
You know what I bet he did?
Post this Gordon Ramsay video.
He probably did this one time when I was 20 years old, and I went to a bar and I screwed up and showed him my real ID and not my fake ID.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "I can't let you in." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because it's 21." So what I did was I quickly went home, shaved my beard, threw on a different shirt, went back, and he's like, the dude's like bringing beer up to the bar, and he looks at me and he's like, "Let me see your ID." And he's like, "Dude, you were just in here. You didn't." Because I was wearing shirt. Because I didn't have any tattoos, but I did have I'm pretty sure I had like the same necklace on,
right?
Wearing the same shorts, wearing the same. And I didn't look that different. Just shave him. If anything, I looked younger. So if anything, he looked at me and was like, "Dude, you're definitely not 21 now."
Right. You didn't just now become it. I mean, I want to know more about the specifics, like. Who's on the run? And it was like, bro, I really got to show this guy cooking this risotto. It is on point. And, he's like, "Oh, I got to have some gabagool."
I mean, he needs to get a cooking show in the pen. Like in prison,
no doubt, right? Yeah, I mean, he's got to be the guy. There's not a whole lot to the story. I mean, this is just an absolute joke. Like, how is what brought you down wanting to post, a video of Flavor Town? Like, I just can't imagine being like, so you're on the run and you're like,
he was in the Caribbean. is where he was caught. He was caught in the Dominican Republic.
You
he was probably
were
there when yes.
You sold him out. Bobby did it. Bobby sold him out.
At first, this bit was funny. Now it's like, oh shit.
Now it's like, this is a little nervousing, nerve-wracking.
Nervousing,
yeah.
Well, I can't find the video of his show. I'm assuming the feds took it down because that's definitely evidence in a crime. But we will find that.
Was it his skills, though? Fugitive's Italian gangster's urge to show off his cooking skills has landed him in jail for.
Was he just a host?
He was just hosting, dude.
Okay, I feel like that's even better now.
It was our boy. Mark Ferrin, Claude Barat, and Paula Dean, dude. They were just kicking it together. They were making some Italian fried chicken. Oh, what a joke. What a joke. I just, I want to know if he looks like a Tony Soprano type.
I feel like no, he's hosting that show. He is the Italian Steve Harvey. 100%. Same mustache,
Italian Steve
same
Harvey
suit, but to
actually
Italian.
keep it Sopranos, he may be like a Ralphie type where, he was always doing the cooking and shit. Like,
I think it might be it. But he's looking more like he probably looks more like a big pussy kind of guy.
Oh yeah. Oh man. So what are you in for? Yeah. I was cooking up a good dish.
Eventually we should do a series on the Sopranos. We might just need to do a whole other Sopranos podcast.
Bro, I've been trying to pump this for fucking forever, bro.
Idea.
Only better thing is if you said The Wire.
An HBO podcast, so we can do The Wire, do Sopranos.
Can do
that right there will take up 4 years of our time.
Right. Already locked in. I mean, you can do Oz. You can do. You can do.
I know you sent me a text this weekend that said, "Hey, I'm busy with work. We can't add any more to our plate." But we're gonna do this HBO podcast for sure.
Adding to our plate. I mean, that's part of my plate. It's just talking about The Wire for 4 to 6 hours a week.
You get to do it in front of a mic, which you've already been doing as well.
I'm talking up here too.
All right. So we're gonna move into.
Forget about it.
We're gonna move into a little bit of pop culture. We're gonna try and stay away from spoilers, but The Falcon and Winter Soldier, initial thoughts. What do you think?
I like it. Yeah. I'm interested. It's only 6 episodes, right? So
you asked me. I don't know. I was going off with
I think that it's only like 6 episodes. Yeah. So I mean,
the first 2 were a little slow.
Yeah.
And there might be some light spoilers. So if you care about light spoilers, turn away now. What are your thoughts on the new on?
But also
spoilers.
Also close your ears because if you're turning away, it's not going to do anything for you.
So go ahead. Spoiler. What are your thoughts on the new Cap?
I'm intrigued to see. Like, I'm not. I see a lot of people are immediately
hating him, but I don't.
No, I'm not of that thought process. I need to get to know him before I hate him. That's my big thing. Am I going to hate him? Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like there's those little pieces. There are some people that hates him because of spoilers. He busts out a gun.
Which, Cap did as well. Yeah. In the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, dude is just a regular guy. People were talking about on that.
People were talking about it. It was like, oh, I was like, dude, he's a normal dude fighting super. Like, he literally just has a shield.
I think.
And he doesn't even have super strength.
I think that he absolutely wants to be a good Cap, which I think is the biggest crux.
I don't think that he's like I don't think he's like a secret Hydra agent or anything like that.
No, I think that's the biggest crux to being Captain America is just the want to be Captain America. Now, I will say
that as someone who's read the comics, I have this what's his name, John Walker.
I will say
that character John Walker eventually becomes a character known as U.S. Agent, who is the antithesis of Cap and actually is a not even anti-hero, an almost straight up bad guy where he's like a homicidal maniac. Now, I think they're going to go away with it where maybe I'm thinking maybe Zemo gets out and Zemo corrupts him like he did Winter Soldier.
Right.
That would be what I think would be the best path for this story-wise. Because I love me some Zemo.
I will say this. The dude is... when they first showed him in the suit,
he looked dumb.
really ugly. Like he was just like some ugly guy.
I literally when
but
I saw,
he looks a lot better without the mask.
I first saw the meme of just him in this outfit. I thought it was like some dude at a cosplay convention.
Yes,
but then I saw him without the mask. I'm like, oh, okay, he's got like it was just a bad camera angle. It was weird.
It was very bad. It were down like 32 steps.
I mean, dude's got a chin, but in that angle, he looked like he had no chin at all.
He looked like he had no lips, and he was 98% chin. But he definitely looks different without the helmet.
No wonder the moment that battle was done, he took that thing off. He's like, "Hey guys,
I'm beautiful.
Yeah,
I have a weird head structure for this rounded cap." Yeah. But I'm not that guy that's like I hate him because he's not Chris Evans or Steve Rogers or whatever. And my feelings is.
I wasn't even a big fan of Cap when it was Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
man. Why was that dude the captain of the team?
Like, I love Captain America just as a general rule, but like I said, this dude is outdated. He'd never even been into space until the final Endgame movie.
Leader of the group has to be able to curse every once in a while.
Language. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm excited. I hope that they pump this up in the next 4 episodes. There was some good action.
Yeah.
But I mean, minimalistically.
Yeah. I do hope, because that second episode seemed like a lot more exposition, which I'm cool with if it's a 6 episode.
It has to build.
Which means that and I think my wife actually fell asleep during the second episode, which is fine. I get it.
Megan falls asleep during everything. That's not saying anything.
Yeah. But all right, let's move in. Right now we're calling this, it's still questions from the internet. We might give this segment a new name. Maybe I'm thinking game time decision, where we have a situation that we're going to talk about and give our input on. So here's this week's. A stranger offers you $10,000 for every mile per hour you go above the speed limit for 1 week. It must always be the same, whether you're in a school zone, a highway, or whatever. If you get pulled over, you get $0. How much are you going above the speed limit? Now, just for clear, you make the decision before, I'm going 5 over, which means if it's a 75, you're going 80. If it's 60, you're going 65. If it's a 20 in a school zone, you're going 25 in that school zone. So what is how fast are you going?
5 over, bro. Yeah. I'm a very conservative driver.
Me too.
As is.
And I normally would say 9, because I already I set my cruise control on 9 miles an hour over the speed limit wherever I go. And but with what I'm still going to do 9. I'm just going to avoid school zones.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a grown up. I generally don't drive through school zones as a general rule. First of all, I don't drive at all. Like I could literally go all week, and I guess really based off the question, all I have to do is at least drive once.
Yeah, and then just Uber everywhere, because the money you spend on Uber, you're going to get back.
I'm just going to drive
$50,000.
I'm going to drive. Uber everywhere. Again, I don't go anywhere, Bobby. I don't even need to Uber somewhere. I'm just going to drive around the neighborhood and go like 35 in the neighborhood, and then drive back home, because that's literally all that I do in the week. I don't even I buy gas like once a month now, bro.
Yeah. I guess the biggest question is, how ballsy are people? Because I'm not very ballsy when it comes to this. Yeah.
I mean, even the
I know my
money
wife would
is
be
great.
like, oh, wait, you guys aren't already going 25 over?
The money is great or whatever, but like, dude, just the hassle of getting pulled over is just too much for me. Money or no money. I don't want to get pulled over just because, who wants to deal with that? Yeah. Like, cops having a bad day.
Traffic school,
says,
bitch.
He says, I assaulted him, and, maybe I threw a packet of salt at the guy or not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but no, I'm just, I'm just not a dangerous guy.
Listen, $50,000 is a large amount of money just for drive.
Right. 50,000. Yeah. That's like, that's not chump change.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested in it, but only to a level. So, like where I'm doing what I normally do.
This is one of the things, you can't get greedy on this.
Right.
Get greedy, you get nothing.
You're right. You get real greedy, and then you catch a vehicular homicide type of situation, and then boom. No money, obviously, but then also jail time.
Well, you wouldn't get pulled over with a vehicular homicide, so you still get the money, because it's not pulled over if you're already on. Because now, you got to go ahead, because if you're going to do vehicular homicide, you got to make sure you're going like 90 over to pay for all the court costs and still have some money afterwards.
Sure, you got $900,000, bro. Rich people get away with things all the time. That's no problem. You're going to spend most of your money on the lawyers and such, but
George Bush's wife did.
Well, there's a lot of long-term wealth building there that kind of comes into play. So,
but all right, a quick teaser for next week. We saw this on a podcast up north above the border called The Broadcast, a good little hockey podcast. They on Twitter, they asked a question: best individual record in sports. So we're gonna do a quick. I think we talked about it. We texted about it.
We texted a little bit.
But next week we're actually gonna do a ranking where it'll probably be either top 5, top 10 consensus ranking. Personally, and I need to look at some other ones. Not looking at these weird, unique, like, oh, this one time this high schooler kid. I think there was one person said like this high school kid had like 100 goals in a season.
I would say professional sports.
We'll customize it ourselves.
College, high level college if we want to. But I don't
Cal
like
Ripken's Iron Man is so wild to me.
It is amazing to me as well. Don't get me wrong. That's probably one of my top 2. But I just feel like I'm not again, I want to be very clear with how I say this. Anybody can go and play on the field. Not saying Cal Ripken's a bad player, but I mean, not anybody apparently. But like,
you call Cal Ripken a punk bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he wants to come call,
no crap for you.
If he wants to square up on it, dude, I had a guy in Baltimore call me, call me nephew. So I'm pretty much locked into the streets up there. So I would imagine that this guy that called me nephew had no clue who Cal Ripken was. So that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But I'm personally, I don't think that there's any record better than Gretzky's points record.
Yeah.
It's just, the thing is, like,
it's so unbeatable.
It's almost as unbeatable as Cal Ripken's Iron Man streak, except for the fact that it's like the main aspect of the game. That's what tips it over the edge to me. I mean, baseball's a ridiculous game. I mean, 162 games a year. That's a whole bunch of games. I want to be very clear with my saying that it's not but just the ridiculous Iron Man levels, that Cal Ripken got to is blown out of the water to me by Wayne Gretzky's points level. Like, if you just look at the graph of like, where he's at in relation to games played and point, there's not even anybody in his realm of closeness. So
I think it's definitely wild. Let's move into what are you binging? The second season of Solar Opposites came out. Have you seen season 1?
I saw most of season 1. I want to say it was good.
It's good. The Wall episodes are my favorite. I don't know if you got far enough in the season to watch The Wall.
I don't know.
It's very good, but season 2 is freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
That's good.
It's better than season 1, and I'm excited to keep watching. I was gonna binge it, but I was just too tired.
I'm almost 100% that I've done this one before, but I've got Stephanie into it, so I'm gonna bring it up again. Mr. Robot, dude.
Is that the guy?
Rami Malek.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Okay, yeah. You've done this one. I was thinking it was the one with Joaquin Phoenix, and he's got the tape recorder that he fucks.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any tape recorder sex as of recently. I have no idea. I think you're talking about Joker? The Joker? Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Robot, it's the one with Rami Malek and Christian Slater. So it is super good. I will talk it up again.
Yeah, I just looked it up. The movie's called Her. Really, I didn't watch it first off, but I saw the previews. Pretty much AI writes letters for people, I think, and he falls in love with it, and he puts it into a tape recorder, and he falls in love with the tape recorder. I don't know if they actually fuck, but I mean,
it's Joaquin Phoenix, so yeah, they did. Yeah. They definitely did.
Yeah. Anyway, so Presidente, or as they call it in the DR, Dominican water. It's like I said many times, it's the only beer on the island, and I drank a shit ton of it. And anytime I wanted to get any liquor drinks, they make them so strong. And what I did was I took my 36-ounce tumbler, and before I get in the pool, I go up to the bar, and I would either ask for Presidente, so they fill up my whole 36-ounce of tap Presidente, or they give me my Goombay Smash, which is just a bunch of rum. So yeah, I was getting pretty shit-faced on some Presidente there.
Yeah, I've been drinking what we call American water. Just beer, just general domestic beer. Nothing special. You just tossed me some beef-eater, so that's probably going to be in the old realm of possibility real soon. But yeah, nothing special. Just been drinking some good old classic American burr.
Nice. All right, let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, I've only got one this week, and I was pretty irritated about it. Let me gamble my money wherever I am, whenever.
Yeah, agreed.
It's wild that we live in a world where I can't just decide what I want to do with my own money. Listen, it was bad enough when I flew through Baltimore. I was like, all right, but then when I saw that the DR allows gambling, but I would have had to download a whole new, DraftKings isn't even there. I'd have to download and that seems like a lot.
And I ain't downloading no sports book outside of regulatory commission.
That seems like the kind of thing it's like I can win, but I may not be getting that money.
It's like, bro, we enjoy gambling because it's just like a fun thing to do because we also enjoy sports. Like, bro, I ain't trying to risk my whole livelihood to like I'm not an addict. I need to gamble. I'm with you though. It's amazing that we could be, if you live in Clarksville, you can drive 30 minutes north and then you cannot gamble anymore. And
but you could go to a casino.
Right. I mean, it's
but
just
only if it's in a certain
spot.
It's
weird to me that we, land of the free, home of the, not gamblers.
Because we need some brick and mortar casinos here in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
What do you got?
Just for my sports answer, blame it on the ref crowd. It's, this time of year around around tournaments, and there's always a couple that, there were people that were saying, well, Florida State's not able to win because because the refs are giving it to Michigan. Like, bro, did you watch Florida State play basketball? Even if there was no calls, they were not winning. They were playing terribly, and they were fouling on top of it all.
To be fair, Tim Peel with that Preds game made it hard for us to not sometimes blame the refs.
Sure, but my opinion of things are refs never lose you the game. There's always something you could do better to win you the game. I'm not saying that they're not bad refs. I'm just saying that the refs, you can't blame the refs.
No,
for any win or loss, really, in my opinion.
All right, I think you got one more.
Yeah, I actually have an snaps my stick. I actually put on my snaps my stick a couple weeks ago, setting up a new phone. Well, I guess it's because I haven't set up or got a new phone since Vietnam. I had no idea that used to back in my day, they just transferred your phone numbers, and now they basically just make the new phone your old phone.
Yeah.
So, which was a lot easier than I expected. So this is an anti-snaps my stick. I recant my previous snaps my stick, and I'll take the appropriate lashes that come along with it.
Sounds good. But all right, everyone, we will see you, I guess, in a couple days for the fantasy show. Join us next week, and peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.